Hey everyone, I don't know if you've been following me on Instagram at Plant-Based on a Budget, but I have been traveling for 2 months. I drove across the country down and then across, and then I went to Mexico, and so excited to be home. I love doing my laundry and my dishes, and I love making my bed. You don't realize how fun those things are until you don't get to do them. I know that sounds weird, but trust me, it is hard to be away from home for so long. At least for me, I'm really introverted and I value my home time, my personal time, and living in a car with someone and then in hotel rooms and on sofas. That was all a little bit difficult for me, even though it was really fun. Anyway, I want to show you around my new place. Paul and I moved into a new place in Sacramento and it's super cute. I want to show it to you. I think I'll do a lot more videos from here because the lighting is great and the kitchen is huge, and I don't know if you've seen my old kitchen, but it's really tiny, and you can definitely see Paul's old kitchen in some of my old videos. It was really small. But yeah, I have been hearing from my friends on Instagram saying that they want more what I eat in a day videos, and I hope you enjoy this one. First things first, I'm going to the gym this morning, even though it's really early on a Sunday. Paul got us the gym membership while I was on vacation because it's only 5 blocks away from our new place. And since I don't like to eat really big breakfasts, I brought along a banana with me. I usually do a piece of fruit in the morning with some water, and then later on I'll have second breakfast, which will be something more elaborate. And since today I'm having company, I will likely make something like a little more special than I would usually make. I would probably do oatmeal otherwise, but stay tuned. This banana is a little more ripe than I'd like it to be. I have eaten half of it and I'm gonna eat the rest because I don't like to waste food, but ideally my bananas are just right, like they're just lost their green and they're definitely not spotted. I'm gonna go home and freeze the rest of these. This is my new refrigerator. I'll put this magnet here because it is something that we live by. Choose happiness even when things are really hard. You can still choose happiness. And right now our fridge has more stuff that I wouldn't usually buy because I went to Expo recently and I got all this delicious free stuff like this avocado sauce and some of this kitchen sauce, which is really good, and then there's the regular stuff that I usually have, like hummus that I made and roasted butternut squash and quinoa and milk, but the other stuff I got for free, so I am excited to try all of it. I haven't yet tried all of it. Anyway, I am grabbing the onions and garlic that I had already cut up. Sometimes I will cut extra garlic and onions. And then I'm grabbing some tofu because, as I mentioned, we're having a breakfast guest and I'm gonna make a tofu scramble. So I'm gonna grab some veggies. I'll do one of these. I'll do zucchini. Mushrooms, not for me because, as you know, I don't like mushrooms, but Paul and Candace do. Oh, and I think I'll do some Brussels sprouts. I didn't buy those Brussels sprouts, but a nice friend of mine was going out of town and brought me a ton of produce from her refrigerator so it doesn't go bad. I will let you know as I go along the steps I'm taking to prepare this tofu scramble. I lightly sprayed this pan with this thing that I got from, it's like a spray that I got from Expo West, and it was free, and so I'm giving it a try. Let you know how it goes. I forgot to mention that you don't have to put the oil if you don't want to. You can add a little bit of water. I know a lot of you don't eat oil. I like oil just a little bit to give some extra flavor, but if you don't want it, you don't have to have it. And so I put 1 diced onion in here, and Instead of doing the garlic cloves, I'm gonna do some of this minced garlic. I love it. I hate peeling and like chopping and all that stuff, so this is just a much easier option. And I was once told that if I'm hosting guests, it's always good to start with your onions and garlic, so that when they come over, they can smell it, and whatever you're making, even if it's gonna be ultimately terrible, they'll think, oh my God, it smells so good. In goes 1 diced green bell pepper. And already in there is 1 diced yellow onion and 2 spoons of minced garlic. I don't have a big lid for this pan, so what I like to do is take another pan and put it on top. I try to put as much of the vegetables in under the pot as possible so that I can steam them, and it usually works fine. So if you don't have a pan with a lid, this is a good alternative. I threw in the 1 chopped zucchini, and I decided that that's enough vegetables. That's a lot of vegetables for this tofu scramble, so I'm only gonna add the tofu and the spices next. I'm gonna let these cook for a while, maybe like 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna add the tofu in. What I love about tofu scrambles is that it's a great opportunity to clean out your refrigerator, prevent food waste, and use whatever produce is about to expire. I am using a lot of random stuff that I have. I'm not following a recipe, and you don't have to follow a recipe either. You can take your vegetables and add crumbled tofu, which I'm going to show you how to do in a minute, and you can also change up the spices, but I'm going to give you some tips on the things that I like to use. This is the kind of tofu that I usually buy, and if I only use half of it, I'll put the rest in a container like this, fill it with water, and use it later like I'm gonna do now. Okay, mind the noises in the background. My boyfriend is giving my friend a tour. So this is how I crumble. It's easier with 2 hands, but I just wanna give you the gist of how to do it. It's pretty easy, and I just crumble it. I buy the kind that's mostly already pressed. The water is already pressed and it's tightly packaged, so I don't have to press a lot of water, but I do try to press it a little bit, and I'll try to find a good video to link about how to press the tofu. So this was half of a block, and I'm going to do 1.5 since I'm making a big batch so that I don't have to do it again this week. Also, make sure to wash your hands when you do this and when you make this for other people, because your hands are all up in their food. You'll see that I put a lot of turmeric. Sometimes people give me a hard time for how much I put in it. I go like this. And it's delicious. And then I go like this. That's my nutritional yeast, which you don't have to do. These are, again, the things that I like to do. And I go like this. Dump, 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 dump. And then I'll mix it up. This is the tofu scramble all mixed up.
Well, we'll see how.
Babe. My friend stayed over for a few hours, and it was so great to see her. But then I realized I was really tired, and I realized because I was feeling cranky, and I thought I should probably take a nap because I'm cranky. And I feel better. I meant to take a 30-minute nap, but I accidentally took like a 2-hour nap. So I missed lunch, and now I'm about to make a smoothie to hold me over. I'm thinking of doing something like spinach, bananas, almond milk, and maybe something else, but I'm feeling pretty basic right now, so I will show you what I'm making. I'm sticking with spinach. This is just chopped spinach from Trader Joe's. And almond milk, I use the unsweetened kind, and then some bananas that I had in the freezer. We go through frozen bananas very quickly, so I just peel them when they're looking brown, like they were a little bit earlier, and use them pretty consistently in our smoothies. I put the equivalent to 1 frozen banana in there and maybe something like 1 to 2 cups of frozen spinach, and I covered it all with almond milk. I don't really measure it, but if you wanted a good recipe, there's one for kale smoothie on Plant Based on a Budget. Just type in kale smoothie. This particular shake is very thick, as you can see, and I have some left over. You can put less produce and more milk if you want to make it a smoother, thinner, more like a drinkable drink. I will eat this with a spoon, and also it tastes very, very spinachy, which I like. And if you want to make it a sweeter smoothie, then you can add another banana. I mentioned earlier that I got this delicious Chipotle bitchin' sauce at Expo West, and so I'm snacking on it. I think you can get it at Whole Foods. I haven't looked yet, but I'm definitely gonna. It's pretty tasty. And also, I'm eating it with tortilla chips. This time I'm doing my Plant Based on a Budget pizza dough. You'd have to find it under Plant Based on a Budget calzones and use that recipe for the pizza crust. I'm using this whole wheat crust because I'm trying to be healthy. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I've got 1 cup of water in there with 1/4 ounce package of active dry yeast and 1 teaspoon of sugar. We're gonna let it dissolve in there for about 10 minutes. I am putting in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I got this one for free from my friend who did the photography for the Plant Based on a Budget Thanksgiving meal plan. I'm gonna throw 2 tablespoons of this in, and then I'll add my flour. Adding 2.5 cups of whole wheat flour. If you have access to a lot of spices, I recommend just buying tomato sauce and adding your spices to tomato sauce, because that will be a lot cheaper. These are like 40 cents instead of getting a $2 jar of marinara sauce. You can use the spices that you have. And if you don't, you could probably do something like this, which is a lot cheaper in a can. I did the canned marinara sauce for when I make pasta. Those are cheaper than the bottle, the glass bottle. And I'll just do this, put it in there, which I'll show you how to do, and then add some spices like basil and parsley, and that's how I'll do my pizza sauce. I'm doing 2 pizzas, so I did 2 sauces. I thought they were going to be different, but we ended up wanting the same. Onion powder, basil, nutritional yeast, but you can also put in things like parsley, you can put in pepper, a little bit of salt, garlic powder. You can be creative. Okay, so I did our crusts. That's my crust, that's Paul's crust, and I'm gonna put our different toppings on based on what we like. I don't like mushrooms, and so I have very easy peasy toppings, and he has mushrooms. Ugh, gross. We have our different pizzas. Here's Paul's pizza, no cheese, but I did add these Gardein chicken strips. You don't have to add them if you don't want to. I know that that's an extra expense, but I had a $1 off coupon, and you can buy them at places like Walmart or Target or Winco, which is where I got mine. And then I had my pizza. I put olives, onions, bell pepper, garlic, the same chicken tenders, and then I also added these shreds from Follow Your Heart, which I also had a $1 off coupon. So I picked some up. Yum. I'm doing my cleanup right now, and even though there's just a tiny bit left. I really don't like wasting food. I'll throw it into the pasta sauce this week, or I'll freeze it, or I'll do anything but throw it away. So I'm gonna just toss it in this little tiny one and save it, because if I threw it away, that's like throwing money away. I also had some extra sliced olives, which I'll probably eat straight up later, but it's just a little tiny amount and I didn't want to throw it away. This is my pizza, and here's Paul's pizza. My pizza, Paul's pizza, my pizza, Paul's pizza. Which do you think looks better? Okay, to be fair, Paul changed his pizza. He added nutritional yeast and these little chili flakes by this company called Picaflor that I got a sample of for free. I picked it up at Expo West. Expo West, by the way, is this place where you get to try a lot of the new foods that's coming out. It's for all types of people involved in the food industry, including bloggers like myself. And so I got a lot of free products to try, and these are some of them. Yeah. There's mine, just so you remember. Let me know what you think looks better. As I mentioned, this is my first time doing a whole wheat crust, and this one is a little bit crispy. When I do it with the all-purpose flour, it's not as crispy, and I also usually, if I have extra dough, will roll it to make a crust. So I just fold it over once, and it'll be like a nice, thicker, chewier, or not chewy, but like a fluffier crust. I totally forgot to close out my last video, so it's a different day, and I'm so grateful to you for watching it this far. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. I'm considering doing this on a weekly basis, but I want to know if this is helpful for you. So yeah, please let me know, and thank you again. Have a good day.